drink champagne. I'm totally vibing. It's true what they say. It's all about timing.
Hi guys, welcome to Unscripted. My name is Cecilia. If you're new on this channel, I post fragrance related content as well as vlogs. Now, if you like that style of content, please consider subscribing and joining the family. And to those who already subscribed, thank you so much for the continued support. Welcome to a video on some of the Byredo fragrances within my collection. I have 6, some are samples, some are full size in my collection that I had, a little bit of some experience with, but I've had the privilege to sniff a lot more than that. So I'm going to give you recommendations, honorable recommendations as we speak about the ones that I have physically here. Now, the house of Byredo is not necessarily an affordable house. So because of that, guys, you can purchase samples of some of these fragrances on decantboutique.com. I'm going to leave a link of their store in the description so that if you want to tiptoe into some of these fragrances that I'm going to show you here, you can, and you can, of course, use my discount code CC10 at checkout for an added extra. So the very first fragrance that I want to talk about is Mojave Ghost. Mine is a mini, and I like this mini, guys, because it comes in the exact same style of packaging that the bigger ones come in. I will show you the other packaging that they have, which is why I'm saying I like this one more, because it just does look like the bigger, size. Mojave Ghost, to my nose, has got that quintessential footprint that you're going to get from some of the clear Byredos. If you have sniffed, some clear Byredos, you will know that some of them are built around a fresh, citrusy, clean, style of DNA there, where they are delicate, womanly, that sort of thing. That is what I get from this, guy. And the top of this fragrance, guys, has got that sapodilla fruit, okay, that tropical fruit, where it's going to feel as though it's got a pear in here. It's going to feel as though it's got a sugar note added separately, but it's just going to be that note, playing around with your senses. This is not going to end up just being like a clean only scent. It's going to have some sweetness there. Some of you are going to feel as though that sweetness is coming from the vanilla. That's what this DNA is all about. And then it has a woody base there, right? More pronounced is a sandalwood than other woods, okay, because the woodiness is very soft there. So there is a soft sandalwood that you're going to get there in the in the base of this fragrance, and that is the DNA makeup of it. Con to this Mojave Ghost is going to be the fact that it doesn't project that much. It becomes a fragrance that the wearer enjoys. It's going to wrap you around in this comforting scent bubble. It's going to make you clean, but it's not a fragrance that, say, you walked into a room, everybody's going to say wow and smell you, because it just lingers around you for about 8 hours or so. So it doesn't, have that projection per se. People could possibly smell you. Say, for instance, you sprayed it immediately and you stood maybe where the wind is going to be waving on your clothes or something like that. People will smell you, but it's not a fragrance I would come here and say, if you're looking for a beast performing fragrance, buy this. No. So that is the first one, Mojave Ghost. Not bad to my nose. I review a lot of Middle Eastern fragrances, and you might wonder that, why am I the same person coming here to recommend softies? It's not every time that, I feel I want to just smell beastly and woody and spicy and all. Sometimes I prefer fragrances like this, okay? Bal D'Afrique is a fragrance I purchased as a gift, for my birthday, because sometimes I do spoil myself. And yes, of course, if I had known what I know now, especially after sniffing the honorable mentions that I'm going to talk about, which is one Casablanca, a beautiful vanilla toned fragrance, very beastly there, woody, spicy. I probably would have purchased that, or one called Mumbai something. There was a very nice, exotic one that I smelled when I went in store. And there was another one called Vanilla. I think it was Vanilla Antique or something like that. Of course, if I had known then what I know now, or if those fragrances were there then when I purchased this, I probably wouldn't have purchased this. However, I'm not going to take away anything from it. It is a beautiful scent. It's soft, it's spicy, it's aromatic, it's calming. It just has that signature scent staple thing to it. Safe woods there, and it also has safe florals. So the florals in here, you're going to smell more than you would smell in Mojave Ghost. The florals in here are more pronounced than they are in Mojave Ghost, but they're still guarded enough not to make this one about being a green plain leaning loud floral, if you know what I mean. So certainly one that I would recommend, but do not expect, again, beast performance from this fragrance. It's going to give you 8 hours where you're just going to be in this clean scent bubble, inoffensive, very nice for those who work, especially around people, because sometimes we have jobs where we are with people, say nurses, for instance. You don't want your fragrance to be in a patient's face, if you know what I mean. Now, number 3, guys, is going to be Animalique. This is actually the reason why I did bring this review, because this was dropped in as a sample in a purchase that I made, and I said, oh, okay, I've never smelled this and I would love to smell it together with you guys. So instead of just bringing it solo, I'm just going to group it with some of the Byredos that I have. So this is not my first impressions of this. I have sprayed it, so I can pretty much tell you a little bit about this Animalique fragrance. It's a 2023 composition. So this is going to take a little bit of a different direction from the staple, clear juice that I was talking about, that delicate clear juice. This Animalique takes a little bit of a different direction in the sense that it gives off a unisex vibe immediately because of the inclusion of the tobacco, the suede, as well as the leather. So there is some weight to this one. If you are looking for a fragrance that's going to last, okay, if you're looking for a fragrance that is going to have a little bit of a cleanness to it, you're going to get it in this. A little bit of some citruses and all, but it has that weight. And in the middle of it is going to be a sweet mimosa working with a violet. And that mimosa, the yellow floral, that mimosa is going to be teasing your senses from time to time together with that powdery violet, but they're not enough to disturb the theme of this fragrance, which is a tobacco-y, leathery, suede nuance. So this is one that I will say certainly does project. If you're looking for a Byredo that's going to have the projection, if you're looking for a Byredo that you're most likely going to get compliments from, you are certainly going to get compliments from this, because it has a distinguishing factor to it in the sense that it then distances itself from being that quintessential clean wrap-up of a fragrance by the usage of those bold notes. There has a little bit of some substance there and some staying power. So this has the potential to last till the next wash. I am not going to come here and put a time frame on it because it's a little mini. So what I did with it was I just sprayed it on my arm, and it did endure for the time that I did spray it, enough for me to say, oh, okay, should I have gone to town with it? It was probably going to last until the next day. The fourth one on the lineup, guys, is going to be Gypsy Water. Okay, and this is the presentation I was saying I do not like as much as I like this one, because Byredos have got two presentations when it comes to their minis. This is a vial. Now, this is a Gypsy Water. Okay, it does vibe exactly the way it is named. You are to expect a clean style of fragrance here. It is going to have a citrusy kick to it and a spiciness of the juniper in it. In fact, it is the juniper, I think, that adds a twist to this by adding a tanginess there, and the black pepper that adds also a spiciness, again, a spicy weight to this, but it doesn't become a heavy duty style of fragrance. It has the inclusion of the vanilla, but the vanilla comes watered down in the theme of, building the name of Gypsy Water, I guess, because I feel if the vanilla had crossed overboard to become maybe a sticky sweet vanilla, then the name in itself would have been lost in translation. So I think this fragrance, guys, lives up to what it's going for. I think it lives up to the DNA that is expected. It's going to wrap you up in a comforting, soft DNA. Another one that might lack in projection, but if you have a nose, that appreciates soft scents, you are gonna, you're gonna appreciate this fragrance. It does have the note of incense listed, but an incense is barely there. I can barely smell it. If somebody can, then good for you, but I can't smell it. Okay, so this is the fourth one on the lineup, guys, Gypsy. The fifth one is also a sample, guys. This is just a 2 ml sample, but I have used it, I have sprayed it and played around with it before enough to know what it's all about, right? This is a 2009 composition, and it is Blanche. Okay, if you can't see that Blanche, let me just show you off the little box there. So this is Byredo Blanche. I'm going to spray it in its little box there, but I can pretty much give you the lowdown, guys, of how this fragrance vibes. Now, this is built around a lot of florals, okay? It's like a floral gang up. There is that powdery violet at the top there, and that powdery violet also works with a rose and a peony. So there's going to be a floral kick that you're going to get from Byredo Blanche. But the florals in themselves come across as soapy, a bit like out of the shower soapy style of, you know, feel there, as though you opened like a bottle of maybe bubble bath, or you were just, you know, washing your face with some soap, and that soap was powdery. Some are going to call it musky and stuff, but I like the fact that these florals, guys, have a little bit of some depth there, especially in the first hour or so. In fact, let me not say a little bit of, they actually piercing to an extent in the first hour there, and I would attribute that to, you know, the use of the aldehydes in this, and of course how the African orange flower is interpreted. That piercing punch there for some maybe a little bit headachy, but the fragrance in itself fizzles. You know, this Blanche fizzles in about 2-3 hours. It fizzles, especially if you spray it on your skin. You will remain with a soapy cashmere, you know, feel of a fragrance around you that's feminine. Some can call it delicate. It's warm. It's inviting. That sort of thing. The DNA in itself, though a little bit crowd pleasing, has some mature tone to it because of that powdery accord that it has, because of the musky accord that it has, because of the mix of the soapiness. It has a little bit of a seriousness to it, but it is also one DNA that I can see some choosing to use as a signature scent, because it just has that free, fresh, clean, inoffensive feel around it, where if you are one that is into those style of fragrances, you may find yourself liking this fragrance. So yes, that is what I can say about Blanche. Not for everybody. The actual vibe of the fragrance in itself is quite simplistic. Okay, simplistic to an extent that maybe price versus what you get, for some that expect vavavoom might not equate, but I personally love it. I just have other options that I would add in full size as opposed to this, but that is what I can say, guys, about Byredo's Blanche, which was the 5th one on the lineup. Now the last one on the lineup, guys, is going to be my Reine De Nuit. I love this fragrance. It's actually on my fragrance tray for the month of September. I did say that this is a perfect fall fragrance. I find that the darker scents push it a little bit. In this, you're going to get a sticky, fruity rose. It's dark, it's smoky at the same time, and it's a jammy vibe in this fragrance that is gothic with a tangy black currant. So it has a lot of pages. It's not linear, right? It's not linear. It has a couple of pages. There's going to be some incense there. Patchouli as well is loud in this. So it is an offering that is not guarded. The smokiness, if I have to add, for some people that may be concerned about that, doesn't become too smoky or too pushy, but there is like a smoky undertone to the wrap up of Reine De Nuit. The one thing I can compare this fragrance with is, not compare, rather, the one thing I can say about this fragrance is perhaps if you have a problem with Portrait of a Lady, which is another fragrance that I have, that one can be super pushy, and it gets worse and worse the more it sits in your collection. Then you may want to try this one instead. It will give you a jammy rose, okay, jammy sweet rose there, and a fruity tone to it, which is something that you get also from Portrait of a Lady, but Portrait of a Lady kind of overdoes it, you know, in terms of how strong and heavy it is. So this is the last one on the lineup, guys, Reine De Nuit. And as honorable mentions, if you missed them again, I'm going to say it, all right. The honorable mentions are the ones that come in the dark colored juice. And as I said, you know, money permitting, those are the ones that I would like to then add, because I think with me having 2 Gypsy Waters in 8 ml, I've got 2 of them. I've got more than enough there. I don't need any more, because it's a subtle, you know, DNA. And me having that Mojave Ghost as a mini is something that made me decide that I don't need it full size, because it just vibes to me as those softy, safe, delicate, you know, womanly type of DNAs. The one that I can maybe just, you know, cut some slack is going to be, of course, that Animalique, and maybe that black saffron, because the black saffron is a little bit, has a little bit of some vavavoom there, okay, in as much as it also comes in a clear bottle. It's built around juniper berries, but has a little bit of some spiciness there, and a twist and a fun twist. But when it comes to the Byredos, I would rather stick to the dark bottles, Casablanca being the very first one that I would love to add to my collection, obviously followed by that vanilla antique or antique vanilla, and then that Mumbai something that is money permitting. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know your thoughts on the Byredo fragrances. Which ones have you used? Which ones do you like, and which ones do you recommend? And we can discuss some more in the comment section. Remember to turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. Stay safe, be blessed, love you as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.